Hi, welcome to Watch Jetty. My name is Elvin. So today we'll be restarting the series in which we invite guests to come on the pod, on the channel, to talk about topics that we love. Of course, we have watches on hand today. Clearly, you see them laid out before us. It will be very familiar to you guys. We'll definitely be talking about this. So today, first things first, we'll introduce our very special guest who has joined us today, Joshua.
Hi.
How are you, Joshua? Good?
Good. Thanks for having me.
So Joshua is a friend of mine. We sort of knew each other 4 years ago almost. I would say. Let's just say that we do have an association at work. So but we'll keep the workplace a secret for now, at least for the next 10 years, give or take. Sure. So very fun to talk about certain topics we have with Joshua today, because the interesting thing is not only is Joshua and obviously myself, we're white collar professionals. Joshua is also a musician. So myself, I tried to dabble in music when I was younger, but I could not do well. I didn't like classical music. I had to learn Mandarin at school as a second language, so that was particularly
Hey, I did too as well.
I know. So clearly you are better than me at that regard, right? You're definitely better than I am. I tried, believe me, but I just couldn't make it. So he's a better man than I am in this regard, for sure. So maybe for all the watch lovers on the channel, let's first start with John Mayer watches. So clearly laid out before us over the last 5-6 years, John Mayer has released with Hodinkee.
Yep.
3 G-Shocks. So Hodinkee collab with John Mayer. Do you want to tell us a bit about what this watches signify? So we both listen to John Mayer. So John Mayer fans, continue to listen on. We will talk about John Mayer's music as well. But first, for the watch lovers out there, let's talk about John Mayer's G-Shock collab. So John Mayer's G-Shock collabs. Tell us what you know about this.
Mostly inspired by his really old classic keyboards, right? Casio, right? So essentially it's a collab between them. Same color palette that he issued them in. Just a bit of nostalgia, because he likes the watches, he likes the keyboards as well, so he thought he'll repackage some of them into watch form.
So these keyboards, I'm sure you see the promotional videos that Hodinkee makes with John.
Yep.
Do you have one at home? Do you used to meddle with one or something?
No, unfortunately no. So I never got into the whole keyboard thing.
Never.
Parents tried to make me learn piano when I was young, but I didn't have the patience for it. So I only picked up the guitar. I wish I did though. So I don't have any association with keyboard, unfortunately.
Yeah. So for those of you who are a bit confused, the keyboards that John Mayer meddled with as a young child basically is similar size to a laptop almost in terms of the length. And these 3 G-Shocks are based on the colors of the keyboards that he used to meddle with when he was younger. So it was particularly meaningful for him.
Yep.
And then I thought that in terms of the colors, it's amazing. And the keyboards, basically, if you're a fan of Charlie Puth, he watches his videos on his appearances on late night on his TikTok.
Yep.
Basically, those keyboards are more or less similar to what John Mayer had back in the day.
So to clarify as well, keyboards as in musical keyboards, right? Not computer keyboards, not mechanical keyboards, because,
Yeah, if you didn't get that, you're probably a bit too daft for this channel. We're talking about music after all, we're a musician, so catch up, guys, just catch up. So if I were to ask you which of these, in terms of the colors, we both have the blue one.
We both have.
Because I think we got into the game a bit late. And this was still available when we looked at it. I think it's a nice color,
It is.
Tiffany blue on a dial, very, very, very sporty, very colorful, very fun. But if I now present it to you, all 3, and let you choose one, which would you choose?
Does it mean I can bring it home?
No, you can't. No. This still belongs to a friend of mine, CY. Thank you for loaning it to us.
Okay.
This guy is a crazy John Mayer fan, clearly, and watch fan. So, but which would you choose?
I don't know, man. So when you took both of them out, I don't know whether it's the effect of, you like what you don't have. Yeah. So these 2 caught my eye.
Right.
But essentially, I think I might go for the off-white one.
The off-white one. Why the off-white one? So for the audiences who are looking on the screen, this is the one that we have. But why the off-white one?
Actually, I think the color scheme blends really nicely, because it's not full white that makes it a bit glaring, a bit obnoxious at times. It's like full bright white, right?
Okay.
And I just like the palette of the blue and the red on white.
Okay.
Call it American flag thing, but
Yeah.
whichever, right? But I do like that color scheme itself.
Okay.
The off-white actually is very nice. It's a bit more muted, but at the same time, it's still a statement, right?
Right.
I still feel, yeah. So I think design-wise, it actually is all the same. It's just the
Correct.
color, right?
It's
So,
exact same watch, just the color.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. Yep.
So nobody asked me, but I'm gonna give my opinion. I quite like this one. I find that this sort of charcoal goes very much in line with the typical G-Shock line.
Yep.
I think G-Shock watches are either very black or dark blue, dark
Yep.
green. So I think this goes with the DNA, and I do like the subtle. This is really the Tiffany blue, but it's a bit greenish in nature. It's almost like teal color. I think. I think the teal really stands out. Plus the almost gold bronzy labels here on the buttons. I think this is quite impressive. I think low key is very low key, and I quite like that about a G-Shock. It's meant to be relatively low key and a rugged watch, so I think this fits very well with the typical design ethos of a G-Shock.
Yep.
But again, I'm not complaining.
I'm not
I'm not
complaining
either.
either.
And you know, if I'm being a bit self-centered and self-absorbed, because we both have this,
Yep.
I'm going to say this is my favorite one. I'm not even gonna mess around. This is my
bias
favorite
there,
one.
but
yeah, it's like fun. You know, it
Yep.
catches the ladies' attention.
Yeah.
You know, for what it's worth.
it is bright. It is
It's bright. Tiffany blue. You can't go wrong. Shit, I have a shit stain here. Damn.
Oh, man.
So if any of you, you know, your first time you're hearing of John Mayer's G-Shocks,
Yeah.
this is the one to get. Yeah, this is the most valuable one. Buy this. Just buy this. So that we both feel good and you're
Yep.
consuming content for free. So this should at least benefit us in some small way, right?
Yep. Drive the
This
prices
one-
up.
Yeah, this is the bloody one again. Right? So, okay, we're not mucking around, right? So, speaking of John Mayer, so we talk
Yep.
about John Mayer's watches,
Yep.
and clearly we are both fans of John Mayer to a certain degree, mostly a large degree. So, what do you like about John Mayer? I think something I think is a good question to ask about John Mayer. John Mayer, in
Yep.
case you don't know, Wikipedia him, 45-year-old guy more or less, tall, Caucasian,
Yep.
American, good guitar player, writes ballads.
Yep.
Yeah. So now that you're caught up, yes, tell me. So what do you like about John Mayer?
I think for me, it kind of relates to what I do as a hobby, which is music as well,
Right.
right?
So,
Essentially,
tell us, yeah.
so it's interesting because growing up, if you were to think about the type of music that you learn or you feed on when you're a musician, so I'm a guitarist, I play a guitar. Essentially, if you were to look at the evolution of music and what was popular at each point in time, right? Since I was born, right? Essentially, we went through different phases, right?
Right.
It started with the boy band phase. Then went through the pop music, which has almost lasted till now.
Yes.
So a lot of sort of the material that we have to feed on to learn from, essentially would be either older stuff, which would be primarily the guitar driven.
For example,
So for example, you're talking about all the rock bands, you're talking about Bon Jovi, you're talking about Led Zeppelin, you're talking about the guys that you listen to, right? Essentially
not Bon Jovi.
no,
but
Bon
Led
Jovi?
Zeppelin.
Okay, sure. Bon
But Led
Jovi,
Zeppelin.
okay. Bon Jovi, love the guy, love Richie Sambora, his guitarist,
But
but
recent part is good.
yeah. So essentially, that was the material that you had to feed on back then, right? Then comes John Mayer, who is more guitar led, more guitar heavy riffs in songs
Okay.
that sort of provides a breath of fresh air, new material for you to learn,
Okay.
and is at the same time is still contemporary enough to be considered a bit popular
Okay.
in terms of nature, right?
Okay.
So that's one of the artists that people normally gravitate to.
Okay.
The other way that other guitarists do gravitate towards is country as well. Country is still very guitar inspired,
Yep.
but it's a whole different kettle of fish. You do have to have a taste for it. You do have to
So-
like it.
Bringing back to John Mayer. So
Yep.
when did you start listening to John Mayer? Which album? Which period? Roughly?
Continuum,
Continuum.
Yep.
Same for me, man.
slow dancing. Definitely,
Slow
right?
dancing.
Yeah,
Is I
it's-
agree.
Yeah, it's his most famous song, I think. Would you agree?
You're probably right. Arguably
Right.
one of his favorite. I think I started
Exactly.
listening to John Mayer when Your Body Is a Wonderland.
Okay.
Shortly after it came out.
And that is
So
actually
Room for Squares, yeah.
yeah, and that exactly is a great example. That song actually is a bit more populist in nature, not so much guitar driven.
Yep.
Then I think that serves as a good gateway for most people. Like
Right.
listen to Your Body's Wonderland on radio. Oh, this guy's cool. Then you get into his more guitar heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Your slow dancing, your Gravity as well, a bit more bluesy and whatnot.
Yep.
So I think that was actually a good gateway song into those. I would say that his other songs.
Right. I would say no. You know what? Now that you mentioned Gravity,
Yep.
then now Vultures comes to mind.
Yep.
Waiting on the World to Change.
Yep.
So I think no. I think now that you mention it, yeah, I think in my head that's probably his best
Yep.
body of work.
Yep.
No pun intended. Body of work. But yeah, I think I agree. So okay, so that's where you started. This sort of
Exactly.
triggered you.
Exactly.
So when was that exactly? When we were primary school,
Secondary school.
Secondary school.
Yeah,
Okay.
secondary school.
Okay, not as young as I thought.
Yeah, well, secondary school.
Secondary school, okay.
Yeah, actually, and which is interesting, because it kind of coincided for me at least with the popularity of YouTube,
Okay.
where all the videos were starting to get
Yeah.
posted of him doing live performances.
That's right.
He does a lot of variations, and that's what makes him a very good and dynamic guitar player,
Yeah,
not just the album.
The ad-libbing, the solos, right?
Exactly.
So, in case again, nobody asked, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Yep.
So I think something that I enjoyed watching with the advent of YouTube, I think the late 2000s.
Yep.
I watched a lot of I listened to rock music from the 60s all the way to the current, and I particularly love guitarists who are able to perform something different every night.
Yep.
Ad-lib when they do a
Yep.
solo for 32 bars, 64
Yeah.
bars.
Yep.
They are able to ad-lib practically a different solo every night.
Yep.
And you really see the creative juices
Yep.
sort of on display.
Correct.
I think John Mayer does a good job.
Yep.
So I think to piggyback on that point,
Yep.
John Mayer's live performances. For me, my favorite John Mayer album is his live album.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah.
while I love Continuum,
Yeah.
my favorite John Mayer album is the one where he
Live
did
in LA.
Live in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree.
That one.
That was inspired.
For slow dancing in the burning room.
Yeah.
I only listen to that version.
Yep.
I never listen to the studio version. Listening
Yeah.
to the studio version sounds strange to me.
It does sound a bit sterile, even.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, so whenever I go to, I listen to friends' playlists, and I listen to the slow dancing in the burning room, the studio version from the album,
Yep.
I'm always like, dude, you don't know music
Yeah.
like I do. Sorry, but that's true. So we know
true.
something
Yep.
I've read. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Good that you also feel the same way.
Exactly.
I listen to only that version.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Live in LA, I think it's an 7-8 minute
It's
piece.
really long.
Yeah, I bought the vinyl for that album.
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
I bought in Hong Kong,
Okay.
and I have it in Singapore. So
Nice. Okay.
it's my way of supporting John Mayer to say,
Yeah.
release more live albums.
Yep.
Right, and because we really like your live albums, so
Yep.
release them, and we want to watch them.
Yeah.
Especially now that he's 20 years in the business.
Yeah.
20 years in the business, John Mayer.
Actually, were you there for his concert in the indoor stadium?
I bought fake tickets. And so basically I wasted money.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I bought fake. So I regrettably I did not watch that
okay.
one. Still haunts me to this day. But
'Cause
how was that one?
Yeah, it was great. Like every one of his solos is different, right? So I was about to say, like, the interesting sort of parallel that I draw, even to the Watchers, right, is that he goes through different phases of life.
Yeah.
Not sure if you follow him that closely.
I do. Reasonably closely,
And
yeah.
different albums have different flavors,
Right.
almost, right? So he started off with that whole continuum. Even before that, he had a few EPs here and there. Then when
Very,
Live in
blue,
LA
very blues, right?
Correct.
Very blues driven.
and then he went to a bit more of the, can I say, hipster sort of vibe,
Hipster, yeah.
right? That was when I forgot what the album was called. The one with Paper Doll, the one with
Also, basically the one where he's decked out in like
Shadow Days,
country.
yeah,
the
yeah, more
thing.
country, yeah.
I'll check it. Yeah.
So exactly. So interestingly enough, the same song that he has, like Slow Dancing, right?
Right.
One of his songs that he performs at almost every concert,
It's,
I believe.
it's a different rendition.
It's a different rendition at the different phases that he goes through, right?
Right.
And essentially, sort of me being abstract or whichever, right?
Right.
Sort of the Watchers kind of draw parallels to that, right?
Yep.
Him being in a bit more earthy, grounded phase, then he has that
Yeah.
so hipster.
Born and raised, right? Is it
Born and raised,
or
born and
Parents
raised,
Back,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
Born and raised vibe. Then now he's doing his own thing, which is a bit more back to the roots, like his latest album and
Yeah.
everything, Last Train Home, everything. It's
Yeah,
stop
Stop
rock, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a bit more bluesy, but at the same time still a bit pop.
Okay.
So I think it goes through different phases, and it's quite interesting to see
Yep.
the evolution.
I agree. So as someone who I'm sure you perform live
Yep.
quite frequently, I might add.
Reasonably.
Quite frequently. So I know you perform in service.
Yep.
Then a certain well-known online. If you're in Singapore, there's a certain well-known online personality. I caught him on YouTube once. I was like, dude, how come you didn't tell me you perform live? So I having a good chuckle about it. So a certain online personality, initials AL. You performed with her, right?
Yep.
So this guy,
Yep.
she sings really well. A certain Cai Peng song. I pretty obvious who I'm talking about now. So a good friend performs with her with the friends. So so this guy is legit serious musician. So as someone who performs live,
Yep.
how did you find the John or concerts in general, or maybe you can reference John Mayer's concert from a few years ago?
Yeah, I think
Live music in general, yeah.
Yeah, when you deal with sort of concert and live music, essentially what you want is, for me, okay, I guess for maybe the general populace, what they want is the nostalgia aspect, right?
In what sense?
Let's say you've heard a song
10 years
that
ago.
you like 10 years ago, you still love it, you still have it on your like songs on Spotify or whatever, right? Essentially what you want is to see the artist do it live because it evokes that nostalgia. At the same time, you want to see some flair. You want to see maybe a bit more of improvisation and whatnot, and how they adapt it to make it live, right?
Yeah, and maybe modernize something that was done 10, 20 years back.
Exactly. And this is the reason why I go to concerts, right?
Same.
Like, for example, like for me, I grew up listening a lot to the punk rock sort of scene, pop punk scene. So you have your Paramore, your Boy Cycles, and everything. That's why till this day I still go for those concerts.
Paramore,
I know he might have something to say about it.
No, I was a crazy Paramore fan.
Yeah.
Once. So I know. I went to their concert in 2010. I think the first
nice.
time that they performed.
Nice.
Then after that, I just stopped. I think Anyway, I thought Harry Williams sort of. The original members sort of leaving the band.
became a bit different.
But then again, that's another podcast. That's another topic on its own. So I stopped listening after, I think, Brand New Eyes. After that, I just stopped.
Yeah.
Just wasn't my thing anymore. And I sort of half grew up, I guess. Sorry, Paramore. If Haley Williams, you're watching this, I don't think you are.
She might be.
Yeah, too bad. So, Haley.
But it's really that sort of aspect, right? Like, you want to feel it live in the moment. You want to get to, at times, maybe even participate.
You want to feel the bass in the speakers. You feel it reverberating on your chest.
Yeah.
I know. I that feeling, I'm telling you, is irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Especially when you go live. So, would you say, other than John Mayer, what other live acts? In terms of whether you watch them here or overseas, which are the acts that one or two concerts most memorable to you?
I like of course, John Mayer one. I like the one I went for in Canada, James Bay. I'm not sure if you know him.
I've heard of James Bay.
Yeah, James Bay, apart from his one song that everyone likes to sing, the Let It Go, right?
Yeah.
Like, he actually is a great musician. He's actually a very good guitarist and singer as well.
Okay.
So, and his sort of arrangement style and everything, right? It's almost back to the roots. Roots being essentially before the new wave of music.
Okay.
Essentially, a lot of the new wave of music, a lot of them are using backing tracks.
Right.
I'm not sure if you know, right? It's akin to... I'm not sure if you recall this incident quite a while back. You remember this artist called Ashley Simpson?
Yeah.
She got a lot of flack for using backing tracks and lip syncing to it.
Right.
Essentially, people are still doing it now without the lip syncing aspect.
Right.
Because, of course, technology has evolved. There are things that can correct your pitch as you sing. Right? So you don't have to lip sync anymore. You can sing live.
Correct.
But essentially, a lot of the space in the band is filled up by backing tracks.
Correct.
Which is actually, what most of the people do nowadays.
Correct.
The reason why I say James Bay is back to roots is essentially it's still...
Organic, natural
live. Huge band setup, huge production cost, but essentially it feels live.
Okay.
Yep.
So and then so other than Jose, any one more?
Boys Like Girls, I told you, right?
Yeah, Boys Like Girls.
I mean,
it's
one of those.
Felt like girls also, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, they're one of those that I grew up listening to, right? So yeah, I went for the concert, still loved it. Evoked that feeling of nostalgia, like what I mentioned.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, nobody asked me. Yeah. But I think the concerts that I enjoyed the most.
You have been to quite a lot.
2010 / Mouse Kennedy.
Nice.
I think their first go around.
Yeah.
That one was nice. Paramore 2010 was great as well.
Wow, awesome.
Oasis 2009, their farewell concert in Singapore. That was an experience.
The two brothers were still together.
Yeah, this was their farewell tour. This was
Okay.
literally their last tour before they broke up, 2009.
Wow. Okay.
It was right around my birthday in 2009 as well.
Nice.
That was great. I liked 2014 Rolling Stones. I
Wow.
was right in front.
MBS, right? Music.
Yeah, Marina Bay Sands, that was an experience.
Yep.
1975.
Yeah,
That outburst, yeah, that outburst was uncalled for. That was pretty good.
Yep.
I would say, yeah, these are the concerts I remember most fondly, and I think.
Yep.
So literally, again, I totally agree about the points on live music.
Yep.
I think that live music, the performer cannot hide,
Yep.
and you want to. It's sort of almost in a I guess slightly selfish way,
Yep.
self-indulgent way.
Yep.
You want to be one of that 5 to 10,000, 15,000 people that this performer is performing for at the very instant.
Yep.
It's that feeling that you cannot replace.
Yep.
So just to tell you a joke, so my mum, when I was younger, I used to go to all these concerts before I started working.
Wow.
Each concert was like 100 plus
Expensive, yeah.
US dollars, some ranging even from 300. Eric Clapton cost me 200 plus US dollars as a uni student. That was mad.
Yep.
So my mum used to say, "Why are you going to concerts? Such a waste of money. Just watch YouTube." My mother doesn't sound like a Hong Kong lady, okay? But I would then tell her, my rebuttal to her would be, I think you'll find this amusing as well.
Yep.
Why do you go on holiday? Why do you travel to Paris? Why do you
Yep.
travel to London?
Yep.
YouTube now is on high definition. You can just watch it high definition. Why do you even travel? You can walk the Champs-Élysées in Paris on YouTube. Why do you even go to Champs-Élysées in Paris?
Yep.
So that kept her quiet. So, Mum, if you're hearing this, this one's for you. Yeah. So
Sure.
That's cool. I think you can agree and appreciate the point, right?
Agree. Yep.
So maybe one last thing. So with the concerts that happen in Singapore, this is fun. So
This
for
is
those of you
fun.
who don't know, this is recorded in mid-January,
Yep.
2024.
Yep.
So Singapore this year, we're sort of being blessed by the heavens right now, and maybe Singapore Tourism Board as well.
Yep.
So in January we have Coldplay.
Yep.
Later this month.
Yep.
Performing 6 shows, 55,000 tickets per show. That's 330,000 tickets. Then in February we have Ed Sheeran.
Before that, January we have. Was it January?
Jan-
Taylor
January?
Swift?
No.
Okay.
So February we have Ed Sheeran.
Yep.
Performing a sold out show, 55,000 tickets plus a small intimate show.
Yep.
So total 50 plus thousand tickets as well.
Yep.
Ed Sheeran. In March.
Okay, March is
first and second week of March, we have Taylor Swift. The only stop in Asia other than Tokyo. So it's Tokyo and Singapore. So you see Singapore sort of elevating itself. Tokyo, Singapore, sort of synonymous. 6 shows, 2 weekends.
Yep.
300 plus thousand tickets as well, sold out.
Yep.
I have friends from Taiwan coming in to Singapore, even though they're closer geographically to Tokyo, but they want coming to Singapore to watch Taylor Swift.
Yep.
And then just recently announced Bruno Mars in April.
Yeah. Yep.
So my wish list is The Weekend in May.
Oh.
So let's keep that streak running. But as a musician, I'm also very deep into live music. What are your thoughts about all these world-class pop acts, pop rock acts, whatever, choosing to perform in Singapore versus, let's say, Hong Kong, and other big places like Shanghai, Bangkok, Thailand. So what are your thoughts about that? What about them selecting to come to Singapore? And as a music fan as well. Huh?
Yep. No, I think like what you said, right? We've been blessed that it's here. Not so blessed that the tickets are so hard to come by, even though it's 300,000 sometimes, right? For some of them, Coldplay and Taylor Swift. I think Bruno Mars might be the same issue as well, right? But I think the aspect that we did mention about live music that is essentially you kind of alluded to just now, which would be I'm paying to see someone perform and do something different. So sometimes it's just a visual spectacle as well, as much as the music is great and everything, right?
Right.
So essentially, production value does come into play.
Right.
I feel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There are choosing my words wisely. There are artists that I would pay to see out of that lineup because purely of the production value.
Right.
Others not so.
Right.
Right. If you get what I mean.
I know what I mean. No. I'll just say it for you. It's fine. This dude. Don't worry, there's no policy here. I call the shots, right? This is my channel. I call the bloody shots. We're not smearing anybody's name. The person he's talking about is Ed Sheeran. So Ed Sheeran, he performs live. It's him, a guitar, no band usually.
Yep.
But sometimes once in a while you get a rapper that comes on, Stormzy.
Yep.
But other than that, he's a guitar. I'm gonna pay $200+
Yep.
to watch Ed Sheeran, or $200+ to watch Taylor Swift, or Coldplay.
Yep.
I'm gonna watch Taylor Swift or Coldplay.
Exactly.
Right, because in terms of production value, the confetti for what it's worth,
Agreed.
and in terms of the lights, the band they do, because it's the band they run around.
Yep.
It's not just
Of
Ed
course.
Sheeran,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So while I like Ed Sheeran's music, it's nice to sing at karaoke from time to time.
Yep.
Out of the four artists that we just listed, he probably rank at the last two, if anything.
Yep.
So
Yep.
right. And speaking of Taylor Swift, are you going to any of these shows?
Fortunately, I could get tickets. I tried.
But you're not going to any of these shows.
Bruno Mars, I'm definitely going to try. I might even buy it if
Right.
in the resale market, right? If I can't. No, it's the kind of thing like, again, Taylor Swift. So I used to listen to a lot of her songs all the way until 1989. So was quite a big fan back then. Just fell off a cliff after that in terms of me listening. I just couldn't keep up, right? But even then, I would still think I would watch her just because of the production value. I want to see how it's done. And for me, as a musician as well, in terms of looking at the arrangement and how she changes things from a live setting, it actually is very interesting.
Right.
And it's engaging as well, right? It's
Correct.
just that drawing you in. And I think you think about the juxtaposition versus the artist that you mentioned,
Ed Sheeran.
Mr. Sheeran.
Sorry, Ed Sheeran. Good watch collector as well.
Yeah.
Maybe just to interrupt.
Go
Your G-Shock
Go ahead.
is not that great. From the tattoos on both of your arms, I mean, I like your music. You're a good composer. You're a good writer. But in terms of I think in terms of artistic taste, maybe slightly lacking in the I mean, it's just my opinion. I like his music. It's just a personal opinion, right? So you're saying
So, in that sense, if you just to compare both, right? One, you're getting an album version and more, which would be, say, Taylor Swift, Coldplay, and whatnot. Another one, you're getting a stripped down version of the album, and at times not as full.
Yeah.
If I wanted to see that, I could watch YouTube.
Correct.
To be honest,
I think this point I can resonate with, because as you said, I'm not a musician per se.
Yep.
But when I listen to music, I listen to instruments.
Yep.
The how the whole band synergistically comes together.
Yep. Yeah.
So I actually listen to drummers. I can listen to a song 5 times in a row, listen to each instrument once. That's how sick I am. I'm a sicko from that regard. I think maybe you are as well.
Credit where credit is due. He's a great songwriter. He has written for a lot of people. Love the lyrics and everything is meaningful and whatnot and emotional. But production value is what I said. Like, essentially, you've seen now with the advent of social media and everything, you've seen street performers who can kind of do similar
things.
Unfortunately, they didn't write the songs. They're not as famous.
Yeah,
right?
agree. So I think no, that's a very salient point. So I think for live music wise, I have to round this part off. I have a standing offer to a colleague of ours who got Taylor Swift tickets.
Oh wow!
He got 4. He has 4 tickets. I gave a standing offer.
Yeah.
If let's say one of these 4 people decides to bow out, cannot make it, tummy ache, a sprained ankle, diarrhea.
Yep.
I'm willing to pay 3 times of your retail, of your retail price to go, just for the spectacle.
You sound like you're going to instigate those things that you said. No,
it's fine.
The person has stomach ache.
I'm just here for controversy. Taylor Swift fans, if you're watching, press the dislike button. I don't care, right? Or comment whatever you want to comment. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm all fine and dandy. It's just I don't listen to Taylor Swift. I listen to Led Zeppelin. I listen to blues musicians. I'm a bit serious. I do listen to The Weeknd though, but The Weeknd has production value, I think. So that's maybe another point to talk about. So The Weeknd, if you're watching this as well or listening into this, please come to Singapore. Follow your fellow North American comrades. Just come to Singapore. You want to. I think 2 shows, 3 shows easily you sell out. I'll go to every show if possible. I think big fan. Love Michael Jackson since I was in kindergarten. I think you are in a similar vein in terms of the songs that you produce. So this is a cry for help or a cry for your attention to come here. So please come. So with that, we'll wrap up this episode of Watch Jelly, talking about watches, John Mayer, production value, live music, why we love from a musician standpoint and from a crazy fan standpoint. So for what it's worth again. So I hope you enjoyed the pod. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Joshua, for coming on.
My pleasure.
With that, we'll run up this pod and Watch Jelly video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, obviously. So don't forget to keep watching Jelly, guys. Cheers, see you, bye.
Bye.